G'day Sports by Fry fans, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Sports by Fry YouTube channel. I'm back after round 13 is finally in the books. I'm going to try something a little bit different with the YouTube format. I'm going to try and make it a bit shorter than the recent round wrap-ups, mainly because my fantasy team is done and I don't really want to play this game anymore. No, I'm just kidding. My team did suck on the weekend, but I want to make these a little bit more watchable and a little bit less content. So if you want to check out the complete round wrap up, you can tune into the Sports by Fry podcast. You can find that wherever you listen to your podcasts, or you can always read the round wrap up. The link will be in the bio down there, or you can find it at sportsbyfry.com. Like I said, my team didn't do fantastic on the weekend. AFL Fantasy is really testing me this season. I'm going to, like I said, chop up all the relevant information into these videos, try and keep them a little bit shorter. So without further ado, let me start with my team. Not a hell of a lot to get excited about. I scored 1689 on the weekend. Tried to find a relevant Wikipedia history stat, but there was nothing out there. My backline was actually pretty good. I ended up locking in Rory Laird's vice-captain score. I didn't want to get super greedy. I knew this round I was going to struggle. I only fielded 17 players after team selection, so I locked in his score. That was pretty good. Got great performances from my rookies in Sydney Stack and Griffin Lowe, so those boys, honestly, might be on my field after the buys at this rate. I will happily welcome Jake Lloyd back this week. And Brodie Smith and Sicily served their jobs last weekend. So defense isn't looking too bad. The midfield was where I took a big hit this weekend. Granted, I did have Tim Taranto's 156 in there. I've whinged a lot about not having Brad Crouch in my team so far this year, but I started with Taranto over Crouch, so I can't really be too upset there. I brought in Nat Fyfe this week too, instead of Zach Merritt, who was in my sights, has been in my sights for the last fortnight, but saved a little bit of money and technically won that move by 5 points with Nat Fyfe outscoring Merritt. Cripps stunk. Walshy did his job and Bewley got a 60 odd, but I only had 5 blokes playing in my midfield, so I was really lacking that premium talent. Hopefully, with a lot of blokes coming off their bye this week, I can boost that area and post a much higher score in round 14. The Rucks had Witsy's 84. He's honestly on the chopping block a little bit as well. I'll talk more about him in trade tactics. The forward line, I fielded a full 6 in my forward line, and Jack Billings came to the party with an enormous 170. Don't know where that came from, but it was a great sight to see. Jimmy Warple, 110. Thanks for coming, mate. Boat got to 100 as well, which was good. Zeeble was a little bit of a worry, only posting an 80, and the 2 rookies kind of sucked. Larky got a 50, and Gardner was barely there for his 15, so like I said, not a great weekend for the large fries and coke, but things are shaping up to be better in round 14. And honestly, my team has got better over the buys, so I can't be too upset. Alright, so I'm including a new segment in the YouTube videos, injury issues. Basically, this is talking about all the players who have some doubt over their status in the upcoming round. Maybe it is an injury or a team selection issue, or they could be forcing their way back from an injury. And I'm going to start with Harley Bennell. He's put forth a few games in the waffle now, and look, he's honestly as ready as he's going to be to get back into Freo's side. Could be bad news for Brett Bewley if Bennell does come in, but I think Bewley's done enough to hold his spot. It's going to be tough to squeeze someone out of the Dockers outfit, but if there's another injury, I reckon Bennell will jump straight in. The big injury news this week at the moment is surrounding Brodie Grundy, who has a weird neck issue that nearly saw him miss the game against Melbourne a few weeks ago, but Grundy is no certainty to play this week. If he doesn't play, don't do anything stupid and trade him out. Trust me, you will regret it, but yeah, hopefully he can get up and get onto the park, but he's no certainty. Another popular name under an injury light is Tom Rockcliffe. He's officially been ruled out for round 14, and if you do have him stuck in your side, I can see why you'd want to hold him, but personally, I think it's a smart move to trade. We get 2 trades a week. He's still worth a pretty solid chunk of change, and you can turn him into a meaningful player, and he has looked pretty good at times this year, but he has dished up a couple of stinkers as well, so you can always trade him back into your team, and I think moving on from Rockcliffe is the wise idea. The last bloke I want to talk about injury-wise before I get into trade tactics is Dan Hannebery. Comes with a lot of risk. He's pretty much had to rebuild his body after going through some nagging issues since signing with St Kilda, but has played a few games for Sandringham in the VFL now. Honestly, looks like a certain starter for round 14 for the Saints, and if he does come in, that move will be very tempting for some people. You can save over 150 grand by turning Walsh into Hannahs. Again, like I said, comes with some risk, but he's someone definitely to keep your eye on. All right, trade tactics time. You are not going to be able to get Jack Macrae any cheaper than he is right now, and he's leading off the trade in candidates. Under 700 grand, posted 140 on the weekend. Tom Liberatore, who I didn't talk about in the injury issues, but suffered a knee injury and is going to miss over a month of footy. Him going out of the side will hopefully see McRae play more midfield minutes, and I think he's at his floor. So you're not, like I said, you're not going to get him any cheaper. You may as well bring him in now. Similar can be said for Tom Stewart, just priced over 600 grand. He'll be a coveted backline upgrade. Does have a very high floor to Stewart. While he's only posted a couple of 80s and I think a 104 against Sydney a few weeks ago, something like that. Had 100 anyway, but his floor is high. We've seen him score a few 80s, but people want to pay up and get a little bit more for Stewart. Price at 620 with a break even of 98, I think it's worth taking the punt. If you can move on from a rookie and get to him, that's a good move. If you do have a lot of money, then pick of my trade targets this week is Mitch Duncan. He's set to finish the year on fire. Just a bit under 800k he costs to bring in, but if you really are fed up with Patrick Cripps, well, I suggest don't trade him out. Then if you do want to do that, then going to Mitch Duncan is definitely a move that I give the green light. Leading the rookie trade targets is Griffin Lowe, fresh off his 100. All of the rookie trade targets this week are priced a little bit awkwardly. Griff is about 250k. Brett Bewley is another docker that could be worth bringing in. If he holds his spot, he's at 230 odd, so a little bit more than these basement types we'd like. Hopefully someone gets named later in the week and we can nab them. Another two more expensive guys over 300 grand include Oscar Baker and Dylan Clark. Personally, I like Baker a little bit more than Clark. You could almost justify bringing either one of them in, but if they're going to be on your field for the run home, then you can bring them in. If they're going to be on your bench, I probably wouldn't advise it though. All right, trade out tactics. Now, I don't think it's wise to move on from your premiums, including Patrick Cripps. While he had a 67 this week, he also had 150, the week before. So you put those two together, you get 210 points ballpark. So that's a 105 average over a fortnight. Again, it is only 2 week sample size, and he's got a lot of other crap scores in the lead up to that 150, but I think it's wise to hold. He's a bull, he's a gun of the competition, and I think he'll reverse his ways back to high scoring games sooner rather than later. Middle tier talent like Brodie Smith could be moved on this week with his bye coming up, so I can see why some coaches would want to move him on. Personally, he's not one of my pressing issues. Only had a 38 against the Giants, but with the exception of that, he's been scoring in the 80s and the 100s, so he'll stay for me. One bloke who probably won't stay for me this week after 13 very serviceable games is Jared Witts. An upgrade to Max Gawn will be a popular move this week with Witts going on to his bye and Gawn coming off of it, so if you've got the money, that's a pretty good upgrade. The rookies that you might want to trade out, there's two that aren't really classified as rookies that I'm getting a lot of questions about, and that's Sydney Stack and Sam Walsh. At the end of the day, these guys have to come off of our field sooner rather than later. We don't want them there by the end of the year, so if you're getting to a super, ultra, mega talent, then there's nothing wrong with doing that. If you're playing and getting a little bit fancy and trying to chase someone, it's probably not the wisest move, but with Stack and Walsh both on their bye, you can justify pulling the trigger. The round 14 bye also coincides with the likes of Michael Gibbons, Will Setterfield, and Noah Bolter having a rest. So if you want to move those blokes on and you have a trade target in any of those forward, ruck, midfield lines that you like the looks of, save yourself a bit of money, go for it. These guys are not going to get any more expensive throughout the season, and if you can move them on and make bank maybe to get Witts to Gawn, then nothing wrong with that. Before I go to my moves, waiver wire watch. Now, Patrick Lipinski is my favourite waiver wire target this week. In 30% of teams at the moment, you can still snap him up. Had 129 on the weekend, and with Libba bowing out, hopefully he'll see an uptick in minutes in the midfield. If Shannon Hearn continues to miss a few games, who I didn't talk about, but there's no certainty to play for the Eagles this week, Lewis Jetta could emerge as a target. Had a 74 the week before he went on his bye against the Swans. And also, sticking with the Eagles, don't forget about Nick Natanui, who's been given the thumbs up to play in the waffle for the Eagles this week. He's quickly seeing his ownership go up. He's at about 35% now. So if you don't have a reliable ruck and you want to kind of throw away a bench spot until Natanui gets back, nothing wrong with taking a punt on him and adding him to your draft side. All right, my moves before I wrap this thing up. It's time for some mega upgrades at the large fries and coke. Walshy and Jared Witts have been very serviceable servants for my side to date, but I think both of them are going to go this round. And I'm chasing, at this stage, Max Gawn and Jack McRae. If I want to spend up a little bit and another downgrade target emerges, I might get Mitch Duncan, but it does cost a lot of money, and I don't know if I can pull the trigger on that and still have a third trade that I'm happy with. Willem Drew is probably the candidate to be traded out with that third move, but no certainty. Again, team selection threw me a couple of spanners last week and could do so again this Thursday night. But if Drew isn't named and there's nothing crazy that happens, him to Dylan Clark could happen, or maybe even Dan Hanbury. Don't rule it out. And that's going to do it for the round 13 wrap-up. Thank you again for tuning in. Next video I'm going to do is probably going to be some NBA draft takeaways. I'll try and post that on Friday or Saturday after the NBA draft has unfolded. We'll be doing a mock draft before then, so you can check that out at sportsbyfry.com. But thank you for tuning in to this video. Thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more episodes. Good luck in the last buy rounds, and until next time, peace.